Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Battlesnake developer interview series. I'm here with the creators of Secret Snake. My name's Noah Warder, COO of Battlesnake, and for joining us today. I want you to introduce
Yeah, thanks for asking us for the interview. It's pretty cool. So my name is Luke Mitchell, and I'm a developer. I'm Matthew Monti-Cooper.
Cool, awesome. Well, yeah, thanks again for joining us today. And so let's jump into our first question, which was, how did you get started with Battlesnake?
Well, that was in about 2015 when representatives from Battlesnake came to our school. Matt and I, we met in Camosun, and some people from Battlesnake came and they gave like a presentation to our class, and they started talking about Battlesnake, and I thought it just sounded like a really cool event, and I was interested right away, and so that's how I heard about Battlesnake, was from that.
Cool.
Same as Matt.
Awesome. How did you get started programming your snake, and like what was your first iteration of your snake in 2015?
Do you want to start on this one?
So yeah, our first snake was we were with a group of 4, and it was the 2016 tournament. It was kind of a neat experience. We our snake could survive a little bit, but it's not great.
Yeah, so Matt and I, we joined up on a team for the first tournament with a few other classmates, and that was in March of 2016. And then 2017, it was Matt and I and one of our other friends, one of our other classmates. And 2018 was when really Matt and I just teamed up ourselves. So Matt and I have only been on a team for like a couple years together, just ourselves.
Cool. And what do you think it was like the main thing that Battlesnake helped you learn? Like what did you try different technologies each year, or have you kind of just been iterating upon the same snake year over year?
So when we started off with just Python. And then in about, I think, 2017, 2018, we started converting to a more like sort of a lower level language to hopefully get some more speed. So we made our snake in C#, and we found a huge performance increase in terms of, the calculations that we could do. So yeah, we improved our algorithm a lot.
Are you continuing with C# or have you tried anything else?
Yeah, still C# and a .NET Core, and we're hosting it on Azure as well. And whenever a tournament comes up, we boost it up to like a really strong like production server. So yeah.
Make sure there's no latency, make sure your snake's
responding. Yeah, we want to kind of reduce that stuff as much as possible.
For sure. Awesome. Cool. And are you using an algorithm? You started mentioning about that. Do you want to give a little bit more detail on that, or is that kind of trade secrets?
About how our snake works? Well, yeah. We won't go into too much detail, but we can give a little bit of an overview maybe. So do you want to start on this one about how our snake works?
Yeah, it's just, well, basically we needed a way so that we could all kind of work on the snake at the same time. So what we did was we kind of separated all the tasks, and then we organized the snake so we could just create a bunch of files and create a bunch of algorithms that kind of determined how to do certain things. So like, I think you were working on food, and I was making sure that our snake didn't get stuck in dead ends and stuff. And that's kind of, we've just kind of built off of that. So we've come up with more complex heuristics that we're kind of just multiplying together.
Yeah.
To determine the best move.
Yeah, so we've elaborated on that a lot. Initially, we just had, a few really basic components, like a component to prevent, basic collisions, so collisions with walls and other snakes, and basically anything that will instantly kill you. And then we had one for tracking food, a really basic tracking food algorithm. And then in the beginning, that's pretty much all we had. But over time, we really, we looked into some more like search algorithms. We do utilize like breadth first search, many different versions of that, analyze the board and create lots of information about the state of the board. And then we have a lot of functions that are basically just interesting forms of behavior. So we have a behavior for tracking food. We have one to detect like dead ends, like the amount of open space your snake will have if you go in a certain direction. We have ones that sort of detects how much like personal space your snake has if it goes in a direction. So snakes that are larger than you encroach on your own personal space. And then we have like a much more sophisticated food tracking algorithm, which, it analyzes it collects and forms lots of data about each food on the board. Like, is this food close to it? Is it closest to another snake, or are we the closest to it? How many turns will it take us to get there? Kind of thing. And then we also have algorithms for, I might not want to give a lot of them away, because even just giving an overview of the idea, it's kind of an idea that you might want to stumble across yourself. But one of the ideas was for trapping and starving other snakes, which our snake will do too. And it does a lot. It can identify situations where it can trap other snakes, and it'll just like hone in on that. And we have ones for starving other snakes too. So, and a lot of it is just, sitting back in your chair and just brainstorming ideas and trying to think of cool new behaviors that you can just add on to your snake's brain, basically, and just try to make it better. And then we run our snake like against the previous version of itself like thousands of times, and we see like, okay, over like 10,000 or however many games, we won like 5% more than, or like 10% more than our old version. So we know we've made an improvement on average. So yeah.
Cool. That sounds really, really awesome. So like, you've really been evolving your snake over the past few years. You started with a very simple, like, just don't die, get food, and try and last as long as possible, to like really expanding upon, I guess, like the brain of the snake, like you mentioned. That's really cool.
One of the most recent changes we made, we really refined it for the last tournament in Victoria. And that was, our snake also we have a simulation function. So it's not just analyzing the state of the board now and choosing its move. It's analyzing the state of the board now, saying, and moving in all directions, and then also moving all of the other snakes as well. So we're simulating like plays ahead as well that factor into what move we do. So we do have like a pretty complex like prediction algorithm too, that like basically just plays the game like a few turns ahead, and then we get like a big tree of of values between 0 and 1 basically, and we just use we do a bunch of crazy stuff to figure out the move. But the simulation function, that was really helpful. Like if we play our snake now against the version of itself that's not using the simulation function, like that one doesn't stand a chance. Like our simulation function really helped. It's really helped out a lot. So that's probably one of the things I'm most happy about that we implemented.
Cool. That's really exciting. And so like, what does the future of Secret Snake look like? Like, are you starting to get close to that max 500 millisecond timeout, or you still feel like you have lots of space to keep adding things in?
Yeah. So when I run it on my machine, on a normal 11 by 11 size board with 6 or 8 snakes at about like the middle of a game, maybe, on my machine, we're nowhere near maxed out, maybe like 5-10 milliseconds. I think that's right. But when we go to like Azure, even on like a production server, we sort of get up in like the 100, 150, 200 range maybe. And then of course you have to account for, just various forms of delay propagation and like drop packets and stuff. So we try to leave like a large, buffer there, so we don't go over the 500. I remember when it was 200, and that was much scarier.
What part about Battlesnake do you enjoy the most? Like, what is the most exciting part of it? Is it the events? Is it the programming? What is it?
I don't know. I guess the very first time we won the game was pretty exciting.
Back like in 2016. Yeah, I think the first time we entered Battlesnake, we won like one of the games in the tournament that brought us through to the next round, and we were just like super happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite experiences too. But then of course, it was really happy to over the years of making our snake. And the last tournament in March, we won third place in the expert division, and that was pretty cool. I find it a bit nerve-wracking actually, because you put so much love and care into your snake, and then it goes to war and it's fighting to the death with other snakes. And we had to go up on stage too, so that was fun. But yeah, that's one of my fondest memories of Battlesnake too, for
Cool.
sure.
So that first win at the first tournament was really, really a highlight, and then placing in the advanced division last year, I guess this year.
Oh yeah, in the winter tournament.
Cool. Yeah, and then taking first place the day 2 of the Winter Classics. My last question is, like, a lot of people are usually asking, how do I get started? What should I be doing first? What's the first thing you should do when you join Battlesnake? So what do you tell people who are first time joiners of Battlesnake, if you've ever had somebody ask you that, or if you're ever talking to friends you've never done before?
Yeah, so I haven't had too many newcomers up to me and ask this sort of question, but like I would say, if you're brand new to Battlesnake and you have an interest in programming, it's don't underestimate your own potential to grow, because obviously if you stick to it and you keep trying hard, your snake will get better over time, and over the years, and keep coming to the events and participating, you'll get better. So as a newcomer, just don't forget that, and keep learning, keep researching about ways to make your snake better, whether it's learning about certain pathfinding algorithms or just other various areas of AI. Just and mostly have fun too. Don't treat it so seriously. It's the most important thing is that we have fun there, and we're all trying to make learning to program a better experience. So don't lose sight of that. Just come and have fun, work on your snake, come the next year, work on it some more, and just make it better as time goes on.
All right.
What do you, Matt? You want to say anything?
I don't know. I guess it'll depend who's asking me. If they're
Like a
kind
newcomer.
of new to programming in general, then I don't think I'd know what to say. If they're not really new to programming, I might kind of share things that kind of had helped us in the very beginning.
I still remember vividly like how hard it was to just, not to not just, well, that wasn't hard, but like when you first make your snake avoid basic collisions, right? So don't move into a wall. And then you test that and it works. You experience these little moments of progress as you participate, and that it makes it worthwhile. You see yourself improving, and you see your snake improving.
Cool. So where would you send someone who's got like a basic grasp of programming? Like what were the tools that really helped you to start your first year? Well,
So yeah, our first year we were doing Python, and we had been using that in a couple of our courses in school, and a lot of what got us going honestly was just like the README documentation. I think we started off with like the starter Python snake kind of thing, and we printed out the JSON that we received. We're like, okay, here's all these coordinates represent where the snakes are. We know the board's this big, so going here would mean moving off a wall, or going into this coordinate would mean colliding with another snake. And
I think that you kind of have to figure out what is most important at any given time, and really generalize that. Being really full might not be the most important thing, but a lot of snakes, including ours, will just eat food whenever they can.
mm-hmm.
But I think if you can identify something that's important, like the real estate on the board that you can get to first, and then just maximize that, then a lot of other checks might become redundant. You don't really have to check for dead ends if you're always maximizing the amount of room you have, because a dead end will severely reduce that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think that's kind of everything. And just want to say thanks for joining me today and talking a bit about your snake and giving the high level. It's really exciting to hear how you're how you're building out Secret Snake, and I'm really excited to see how it performs on March 15th to the Victoria event as well.
Yeah, and hopefully we find the time to work on our snake some more too, because we haven't changed it since the March 2018 tournament.
Mm-hmm.
The only changes we made for the 2019 was we just updated to the new API because you guys started sending over the JSON slightly different. But I hope for this next one, we can find some time to brainstorm and work on some new ways to make our snake brain better. Because, Secret Snake, could be improved more for sure. It's got to start brainstorming.
Sounds good. Excited to see the Secret Snake join us at the Victoria event for 2020 as well.
Thanks. No, me too. Thanks.
Thanks, guys. And